Hi, this is the PawnSacrifice channel, and if you're watching this is something a bit different. This is a video sort of unboxing, first use impressions of my, what's it called, SwitZer Media Blast Cabinet. It was in the turbocharger rebuild video, which I will put a link up for, but it was just getting a bit too long, so I wanted to cut that down, so I thought I'd take this out. So this is the content that was in that video. Right, this is quite an exciting moment. This has been in the house for a couple of weeks with me wanting an excuse to get on and use it, and this is going to be it. This is my new purchase. We'll see in here. I'm not quite sure exactly what we've got, but it is a media blasting cabinet, and yeah, so I've got an air compressor, very kindly or generously given to me by my folks for Christmas, and yeah, this is my recent purchase for it. It is a, what the hell is it? It's a SwitZer or something. We'll see how it goes as to whether it deserves a link. It was just one that I bought off eBay. It's got all of the hose and light and everything else in there that's needed for this, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I've never used one of these before, and I like making things clean, so this seemed like a good idea. It was, I can check, it was about, I don't know, £70–80, so it's not going to be the premium high-end edition, but for hobbyist use, which is what I'm going to be using it for. Hopefully it's going to do a job. So let's get to getting this thing out and up on the bench so I can have a proper look at it. Okay, here we go, my voyage of discovery. First thing I've noticed, bearing in mind that this has just come from the house up to here, it's in the box with all the packaging, and that looks a bit crappy. So, but having said that, I don't think it's going to affect the performance of it, so I'm not overly bothered. Let's get this lid up. I might have to have a look at that because I think that's going to annoy me, so I may need to just see if I can get that bent back into shape. Here's the cabinet. Okay, let's see how we can do this. So I have a work light which looks like that, clips into there. Bit of luck, that's not broken. There's a little air filter here, and you can put an extractor on. So I might try and hook the vacuum up to that. I've got an ash vacuum. That was obviously a bit of protection from there. I need to see. Oh, I've got a load of filmy pieces, which presumably is that. I don't know if they're going to go bad. I'll put that to one side for a second. Instructions, I will actually read those. Cardboard packaging. So all in all, in fairness, I would say it doesn't look too shabby. Obviously loses 10 points for things. Oh, there's some stuff. Oh, that's probably the gun. Tell you what, I'm going to put you guys down and get the box. So this is the rack. So as I understand it, the shot media goes in here. It falls down to the bottom. There's a suction through the gun which plugs in, I presume, on the side here. Again, I will read the instructions. And that just recirculates the media. It does limit what you can use in it, but do you know what, this is probably a decent working size. So yeah, let me just grab that box. Right then, in the box of tricks, let's see what we have. Okay, here we go. Itchy nose, some PTFE tape, I think that's the right acronym, I always get it wrong. Anyway, some tape and a thing, so we'll see what that is in a sec. Then there's the gun, so essentially this will connect to the side of the tank, and then from the outside that will then connect to the air supply. So I'll have a look and see what I need to do about that. This is obviously a thing. Okay, I'll have to see where that goes. And thankfully there's also some spare tips in here. Oh no, it looks like they're different sizes. So I'll need to see what the deal is with those. And let's have a look at this, see what this bad boy does. Oh, okay. Probably the least exciting part of all, that's the transformer for the light, which clicks in there. Tell you what, let me just have a quick look and see if this works. Woohoo! Right, okay, so the lamp's intact, and that's one thing I got working, and I did all that without reading the instructions. So let's make sure I get this done properly. Okay, I've got a, it's like a Pilates bench and a dog cage as well that they sell, so that's interesting. Obviously range of products. Okay, so what does it say? Max working pressure 125 psi, media capacity 7.5 litres or 2 gallons. If you think about this sort of setup yourself. So first off, the instructions say to connect the connector to the bottom of the tank. So it's a nut. It's got there's a few holes around the thing, which just obviously sucks up the media. So that's great, nice and easy there. And then it says to connect this to the sides, and again, relatively straightforward. Now I'm wondering what on earth I do with this tray, which I assume you'll need to stand stuff on. There's no mention of it at all in the instructions. I can't quite see how the hose would, I assume they're cut in the corners so that the hose can run up and then across, but that doesn't seem to make any sense. There's also this thingamajig, and there's absolutely no instructions at all for that. Luckily, I found something. Okay, whatever that does, I just have to hope that that's okay. So this isn't super annoying. As you can see here, it's not just the leg that's crooked, but it looks like the whole floor piece has been bent down. So I'm going to need to unbutton that and then try and push that back up, and then hopefully it and the leg will sit ready. Otherwise, I can see I'm going to be losing stuff out the side here. So the final bit I need to do is just put the air hose adapter on there. Now in the instructions it did say put it on, check for leaks, and then if needs be put some tape on it. To be honest with you, I'd rather just put the tape on from the start. Okay, right, that's set up and ready to go. Here's my air hose that goes back to the compressor. I'm not leaving that connected because there is a slight leak. Did have to go around and put some additional tape, tighten up that as well. There's still a slight leak from somewhere. Next, I need to get the media in there. So this is a bag of, I can't remember what it is now, some blast washed, I don't know, it's glass something or other, so glass beads. So I need to get some of that loaded into there now. I'm going to use a good old measuring jug, and the reason I'm doing that is, I can't remember the instructions are gone, but I think it said the maximum's about, or the maximum that you're supposed to put in is 7 litres, so I want to make sure I get that right. So I'm going to get that loaded up. You don't need to see it, I'll be back in a bit. Actually, saying I wasn't going to show this stuff is kind of cool. So this is the glass beading, which, oh crap, I really shouldn't be pouring over the gun like that. And I've kind of lost count. So I think that's about 3 litres, so about half of what they recommend. I'll put another 3 in because I've lost count, just to make sure I don't use too much. Right, I'm not sure how well this is going to film, but I'm going to try first off cleaning the compressor housing. I've put a bit of tape over I've just used some electrical tape. I don't know if that's going to last or not. If it comes off, I'll best retrieve it. But yeah, this is going to be quite cool. Let's see how this cleans it up. Actually, one of the things I like about this is these this glove setup. It reminds me of something Homer Simpson wears at work. Anyway, I've managed to get the tray in. I just had to bend the thing back. That's right at the... So I don't... First learning, don't put anything too far over the other side because you will never be able to get it back with the gloves. So yeah, let's have a look and see if this works. Oh, I need to plug in the air supply. In, done, right. It's very exciting, honestly. So, bit of air just to blow out any of the last shot that's in there. I am probably going to give it a bit more just to make sure there's no residue and dust in there, and I'll give that a good cleaning out and just run a microfiber or something through, give it a bit of a blast with some car cleaner or something like that. But no, the housing's come up reasonably well. I'm not going to do it to the nth degree, but yeah, quite pleased with that. Obviously the alley side has come up a lot shinier. It's not looking too bad actually, so I'm quite pleased with that. The thing uses a lot of air, as I'd sort of expected. I mean that the compressor's 4 horsepower and it's got a 100 litre tank on it, and it's still on a lot of the time when I'm using this, so I have to be quite careful as and when I use it, as it makes a bit of a racket. So there we go, that's the SwitZer Media Blaster, and it was okay. I think it was good for the money. It wasn't hugely expensive. Quality isn't the best. It definitely does a job and it served its purpose. So yeah, quite happy with that. I mean, if you get one, I would imagine you probably need to expect to do some minor adjustment for it, and I still have no idea exactly how you're meant to use that tray that fits in the bottom, but it seems good enough. That aside, obviously this was a bit different, so let me know if you want to see a bit more on the tools and things that are being used. Obviously not just the spanners and screwdrivers and what have you, but the stuff that's probably a bit different, a bit more interesting. If there's anything that you have seen that you want to know about, let me know. Or alternatively, if you'd rather I'd have just left this in the main video, then yeah, I'd be interested to hear feedback and can tailor things accordingly as I go. But as always, thank you for watching.